Leo, how significant is this drop? I'm seeing the Dow down about 4%, S&P down about 5%, the Nasdaq's down almost 6%. We know the circuit breakers will trigger a pause in trading if any of them go down 7%. What do you make of what you're seeing so far, the reaction?
Right. This is still continued volatility given that we have so much uncertainty about trade policy. The reprieve that we got yesterday, that was a minor reprieve, right? Going down to 10% across the board is still 10% across the board in all countries, plus, over 100% on China. That's still going to be a very high effective tariff. That's still going to be very difficult for U.S. consumers to be able to absorb. And it might be something that will still raise the likelihood of a U.S. recession, throughout 2025.
Selena, how are negotiations with other countries progressing, given this 90-day clock is also ticking on these other tariffs potentially taking effect again?
Yeah, so the Trump administration says that more than 75 countries have reached out and they want to try and strike a trade deal with the United States. They're also saying that 15 countries have come forward with an explicit trade deal. So they're now looking through, studying those deals. But to your point, that 90-day clock, it's already ticking down, and it's really not a whole lot of time, especially when we're talking about just how complicated, how time-consuming it is to strike these sorts of trade deals. And the fact that we're talking about more than 75 countries, and the Trump administration is saying that they're looking for bespoke, tailored trade deals. So still a lot of questions between now and when this 90-day clock is up, whether or not they're actually going to be done with those deals, if we're going to see another extension, or if some of those deals go awry and tariffs still increase to steep levels for some of those countries. And it's also important to remember that there are still 10% tariffs in place on most countries, and those 25% tariffs in place on steel and aluminum imports, as well as on car and car parts. So that was really just a temporary reprieve that we're seeing right now. Still a huge amount of uncertainty.
So, Leo, what does this drop tell you about investors' concerns, particularly seeing this so soon after yesterday's rally?
Yeah, it probably says that yesterday's rally was a premature and not fully thought out reaction, because we're almost back down, or most of the way back down to the gains that we had yesterday. And so again, we're kind of back to where we were just a few days ago. Consumers, still are very worried about the economic future. Investors also don't think this trade war is a great idea, and that's why they're pricing in these big declines, today, right now.
Democrats are now calling for a probe into possible insider trading after President Trump posted the message, "This is a great time to buy," right before pausing some of these tariffs. What do you make of that?
Yeah, listen, this is going to be very hard to figure out who might have known what ahead of time, and who might have traded and benefited from this in advance. Anytime we see these kinds of wild swings, it does call into question, who had information earlier, and who might have been able to profit from this. If any one of us, if normal people like you and me, had insider trading information and took advantage of it, we would be in a lot of trouble. I don't know what this is going to imply for perhaps anyone else in the administration that might have had some kind of knowledge and acted on it.